When I said and I wrote, I said, you cannot defeat Biafra. Because when the people are determined, they are willing to sacrifice anything to preserve their identity. When they feel they are on a righteous cause, it's difficult to defeat them.
Yes.
All right, guys, so I stumbled upon this interview, a very interesting one of Wole Soyinka talking about the Biafran cause, and he was equally talking about Nnamdi Kanu. It's a very, very interesting interview, and I want you to watch it to the end because we're going to be dissecting a lot of things. I all know that Wole Soyinka has come under intense scrutiny, especially when it comes to him talking about the central government. He has not really been straightforward, but in this interview, he spilled the fact about the Biafran cause, about the continual detention of Nnamdi Kanu, which everyone has agreed that it is illegal to detain Nnamdi Kanu and he needs to be released. And Wole Soyinka has lent his voice to that fact and equally called Buhari a kidnapper. So I'm going to allow you to listen to the interview and I'll be back to discuss in details what he's talking about.
He talks of the decisions he made that were terrible, sir. When you compare that to people like Nnamdi Kanu today, Nnamdi Kanu trying to resurrect that Biafra spirit, what would you say, or what would your advice to people like Nnamdi Kanu, the Yoruba nation, those people that are agitating for a split from Nigeria? What would your advice or suggestion be to them from your experience?
Well, the first thing I have to say is this, that I said at the time, and this was what got me into serious trouble, because they felt that by making such statement, in fact, it was singled out. By making such a statement, I was trying to demoralize the federal side and actively promoting the Biafran cause. When I said and I wrote, I said, you cannot defeat Biafra. I said, and people thought I was merely talking of they took a very simplistic approach to understanding that. They thought I was talking about the battlefield, on the battlefield. Well, that was involved as well. Because when the people are determined, they are willing to sacrifice anything to preserve their identity. When they feel they are on a righteous cause, it's difficult to defeat them.
Yes.
If there's any, shall we say, military defeat, it's only temporary. The real issue remains unsolved. I mean, that's a lesson of history all over the world.
Yes.
And so when I made that statement, I was saying the Biafra, that notion, that concept, and all that it involved, both antecedents and the present, and also, in fact, including the future, seeing what the people who are determined to go on their own, seeing what they could become. That is part and parcel of the cause. And when you have that kind of binding combination of different causes, it's very difficult to defeat them.
You cannot defeat people that are determined. You cannot defeat them. Well, we'll come to that later. He equally talked about Nnamdi Kanu continual detention. You all know that the federal government has denied his bail application and his request that he be moved from the DSS facility to the maximum facility in the Kirikiri. He has been denied. And Nnamdi Kanu has said that if any court in Nigeria tried him, they are committing the act of terrorism. And it seems that Prof is echoing the sentiment of Nnamdi Kanu. He's saying that it is illegal to detain Nnamdi Kanu. He said what they did to Nnamdi Kanu is a crime by kidnapping him, and he equally called President Muhammadu Buhari a kidnapper. Buhari has a penchant of kidnapping people, and most of you are not aware that he has done that in history, in time when he was the head of state. He has kidnapped a lot of persons and put them in a custody. Let's hear Prof what he has to say about Nnamdi Kanu continual detention.
He had a right to pursue his cause anywhere he wanted. He was never accused of physically bombing any place or killing any place. Language, yes, was incited, no question at all about that. But you don't arrest, you don't kidnap people. Buhari seemed to have an obsession with kidnapping people. You know, that seemed to be his trademark.
Modus operandi.
It's like couldn't fulfill himself unless it put somebody in a crate and brought them back. And I think that, politically speaking, if they have any real charges against him, well, since he's in their hands, they should try. All these technical postponements, delays, these tactics of just of avoiding the basic issue. For me, it's counterproductive.
Yes.
And so Nnamdi Kanu represents that concept. He is one of the younger generation who inherited a burden of defeat, of resentment, and a determination, in their view, not to make the mistakes of even their predecessors. They have a new will, they have a new understanding of history. The only problem I had with was the language which Nnamdi Kanu used over Radio Biafra. I listened to some of it, very incendiary,
Yes.
and also disrespectful, I thought, of even his own people.
I do agree with that.
The language, I don't want to go into details, but all you have to do is listen to it. So what is represented, in fact, I used a certain expression in recent contributions. What we fought for, those of us who stood on that side, we fought for a Biafra of conscience. And for me, that's very critical. And people like Nnamdi Kanu should not, or IPOP for that matter, or MASSOB, whatever, should not act against what I call the core of our humanity, which is one of conscience. So yes, because for me nothing surprised me at all. In fact, it just surprised me that it took so long that the, what you might call the Biafra resurrection to take place in terms of consciousness. Nothing surprised me.
All right, let's talk. I know most of you might have had issue with Prof, especially with his recent take on the state of the nations, when he called people who are fighting for the liberalization of this nation fascists. I know you might have not agree with him, but looking at everything he said in this interview, Prof was spot on. You have to remember that Prof was also part of those that experienced the war. I actually did a video about his own side of the story regarding the war. And so he has every right to talk about the Biafra cause and the rest of everything. There was something he said regarding the Biafra cause that I actually believe that is true. And that is the fact that you cannot kill Biafra. You cannot kill people that are determined. I need to bring to your notice something. When Philip Effiong was handing over to the Nigerian troops, when they were surrendering, he said something to the Nigerian troops that if they don't solve the issue that caused this war, the generation to come will take up the battle. They will resurrect the fight. He asked the federal government to ensure that this fight is not resurrected, that they should do everything within their power to solve the issues that led to this war. And what are the issues? The Biafra side were talking about marginalization, because during that period you saw how they were massacred, they were killed, especially in the northern part of the country, and there was nothing that was done by the Nigerian government to stop the killing. And also, they also want a resource country. They wanted regionalization. Now, when you look at what is happening from when the war was fought and ended to date, what caused that war is still going on today. Marginalization and resource control. Look at the Southeast, for instance, a region that is known for commerce, does not have a seaport. What will it take the federal government to cite a seaport in the Southeast? What will it take the federal government to cite an international airport in the Southeast? The airport in Imo State was built by the Igbo people after the war. It was built by them. What will it take the federal government to cite development in the Southeast? Politically speaking, what will it stop the Nigerian state from having an Igbo president? In 1999, during the dawn of democracy, it was said that they wanted to compensate the Yorubas for what happened to Abiola. When will they compensate the Igbos for what happened to Agbe-Irunsi? When will they compensate the Igbos for the war? They massacred millions of innocent children. When will they be compensated? You see, the Nigerian state has not been very, very fair to the Igbo tribe, and that is a fact. The same thing that led to the war is the same thing we are experiencing today. Marginalization, politically and otherwise. You don't want them in their country, and you don't want them to go their separate ways. Everything is all about the Igbos. The Igbophobia is real. They go to Lagos, you demolish their properties. They come out to contest for election, you say they are IPOBs. You call them terrorists. You call them all manner of name. But you cannot do things that will make them to stop clamoring for Biafra. And when one person come up to clamor for Biafra, you go and kidnap a person and you put the person in the prison. You cannot kill the idea. You can decide to use the military to subdue it, but it is still in their mind. That pain is still in their mind. Most of them has read history. They read how their forefathers were killed when they tried to fight for freedom. The Biafra War was a war for freedom. It was a war for survival. And that survival is what they are still experiencing to date. And you think you can kill it? No, you cannot kill it. That is why you see everywhere on social media, they are still talking about the Biafra War. Even in faraway island, they have somebody there that is propagating the Biafran cause. You can't kill it. For you to kill the Biafra agitation, you need to solve the root cause of that agitation. What really stopped the federal government from saying, all right, we all wanted a Yoruba president in 1999. We are all going to look for an Igbo president. Igbos, bring someone forward. We are going to ensure this person become the president. In 1999, only 2 major Yoruba candidates contested the 1999 election, which produced Olusegun Obasanjo as the president, and the other person was Olufale. Wealth really stopped the Nigerian people from saying, all right, this is what we need to do. We need to pacify the ghost of the Biafra War. We need to banish these ghosts. We need to have an Igbo president. Do it. And let's see if this agitation will continue. You have not healed the wound. You have not mended the broken heart. And you're still calling yourself one Nigeria. Of course, there's nothing like one Nigeria. You cannot be having aggrieved people in a country and you're calling them one Nigeria. It's not possible. It's not possible. You need to heal that wound. You need to mend the broken hearted. People, even those in European countries, they do what we call reparation. They try to pacify those they've hurt in the past, but the Nigerian state don't want to do that, and they want to keep living as one. It's not possible. You are going to keep nursing aggrieved people. Allow them to go. They say they want to leave. Conduct a referendum and see if they want to leave or not. Now, considering Nnamdi Kanu, a prof said something. He said he does not really like his method, his way of handling things and his way of speaking, which I agree with him completely. Nnamdi Kanu was so incendiary in his words and approach. He talked down on people, even on his own people that did not support him. I don't really support that approach, but the fact remains that the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu is illegal by the federal government. It is very illegal. You cannot go and kidnap somebody in another country and you're using the courts to deny him his right. You know, the federal government is always fond of doing the wrong thing and they want to get the right result. You know, it's a trial and error government. Even in their policy, you see how they do experimented policies. It does not give you a positive result. That is what they are doing with Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has a fundamental right to do whatever he's doing. He has not killed anyone. He has not bombed any place. All he's calling is to what creates the consciousness and the awareness of his people about the self-determination, which is a legal thing to do in a country. It is legal to call for self-secession. All you need to do is to call for a referendum. Do the people really want to go? And they go. You don't go and kidnap someone who is calling for a referendum and you put him in a facility and you use the courts to deny him of his right. It is wrong. They should release Nnamdi Kanu. What they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu is wrong and it's not going to solve the issue. Putting Nnamdi Kanu in prison will not kill the ghost of Biafra. It will not kill the ghost of self-determination. It will not kill the ghost of those that are calling for what? Separation of the Nigerian state. You have incarcerated Nnamdi Kanu, but there are thousands of other Nnamdi Kanu out there that are still speaking and calling for the cause of Biafra. It is hurting the Nigerian state. It is killing the peace and harmony that we have in this country. We don't even have it anymore. Because you cannot claim to be one and you are ostracizing against a particular region. Putting Nnamdi Kanu in prison is a slap in the face of Ndibu. It is wrong. The federal government, they are always fond of using this barbaric method of approach to solve an issue. People complain of marginalization, you go and you shoot them. People complain of not being treated fairly, you go and you destroy their land. You don't hurt, you don't console the people by hurting them. Peace is sacrosanct, and that is what they should be pursuing. What exactly is it that this man is calling for? What is the root cause of this determination? When the Nigerian debtors came up and they said that you don't want the people to exploit their oil anymore, they went about kidnapping expatriates and blowing up pipeline. It hurt the economy of this country. What did Olusegun Obasanjo did? He sent military men to go and bomb the Niger Delta. Did he stop it? No. He didn't stop the agitation in the Niger Delta. But when Yaradua came on board, he listened to them. What exactly is your anger? and he introduced amnesty to them. These boys are being maltreated. You can't keep maltreating them and you expect them not to speak up. He called these boys and handed them amnesty. That is why you have peace in the United Delta today. Since Yar'Adua introduced that amnesty, and there's peace in the United Delta, and the exploration of oil is going on there. Why not do the same to the Biafran side? Call the Biafran people. There's a confab report. Go and revisit that confab report. Look at the solution that have been provided in that confab report. How do you banish these ghosts forever? Successive government upon government has come and gone, and yet the agitation is still there. You fought a war to quell the agitation is still there. How do you solve this? That is what the federal government should be talking about, not incarcerating the person that is spearheading this approach. He has not killed anyone. Boko Haram and bandits are busy killing people everywhere. You cannot send the military after them, but you send the military to besiege the southeast, and you claim that you are integrating them into the national politics of things. No, you are ostracizing them. The sooner you realize that you are causing more harm to the Nigerian state than peace, the better for you. Nnamdi Kanu should be released. And thank Prof for what he has echoed. He has set the mind of so many persons. The federal government is not doing the right thing. Tinubu, you did not kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. Buhari kidnapped him. It is Buhari nature to kidnap people. Release Nnamdi Kanu. You have the power. Whatever he's going to take, grant him presidential amnesty. He should be let go. That is the truth. And look at the root cause of this agitation. If you keep keeping him there, people will keep protesting. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.